Well, hello all, and welcome back to another edition of Drop the Mic, the official podcast of the Powsolution. Now, this is not a scheduled podcast. I didn't intend to actually record this. However, I just heard the news about Corinne Gaines and her family being awarded more than $37 million in damages from a civil lawsuit that they brought against Baltimore County. And, I'm just, I had so many things that were going through my head. I decided to go ahead and quickly speak on it. But yeah, Baltimore County on Friday awarded more than $37 million to the family of Corinne Gaines. She was a Randallstown, Maryland woman who was shot and killed by police. People say it was because of, unpaid traffic violations, but we all know the truth. She was very outspoken about white supremacy and was in fact harassed by the police before her untimely death. The jury actually agreed that the first shots meaning that Ms. Gaines was not the aggressor here. The first shots fired by Corporal Royce Ruby, which actually killed her and injured her 5-year-old son, were not reasonable and therefore violated her civil rights. But no punitive damages were awarded. So I think that's interesting. I can't help thinking about this young man that killed 19 people in Florida. After being apprehended by the police officers nonviolently, he was transported by cops safely to be treated at the medical facility alongside his victims. However, Corinne Gaines is going to have armored men run up in her house and shoot her in front of her child for unpaid traffic violations. That dichotomy, ma'am, that's police work versus a lynching. Okay, what they did with this young man in Florida was police work. What they did with Corinne Gaines was a good old-fashioned lynching. I can't help but think about, how wrongful death lawsuits don't even affect the police. It's not like anyone touches their pension. It's taxpayer money. In Baltimore, I just talked about how in Baltimore, children are in school with no heat. So that's them killing you and then robbing you also. That's a slap in the face. We ask you not to kill us. You say no. But here are some examples of good white cops. And we'll name this boulevard after you, and your parents can make appearances with Hillary Clinton. Is that all right? It's a slap in the face. After witnessing the death of Erica Gardner, no amount of money could reverse how this tragedy affected her son, Cody Gaines, who's only 7 now. He had to watch his mother be murdered. He's only 7. No amount of money can repair that. No amount of money can repair the traumatic damage of Cameron Sterling, Alton's son, who we saw wailing at his funeral or at his press conference. No amount of money could reverse the traumatic damage of Diana Reynolds, who had to watch her father figure, Philando Castile, get shot on a routine traffic stop. I mean, it literally is a slap in the face. And, I can't help but wonder, this family, her mother, her father, her estate, were they there for her when the police were harassing her? Because it low-key seems like she went through this alone. She was in that house alone. I mean, she was with her son, but it was just her and her son. And that's not an affront to the family. I would imagine that this is a heart-wrenching time for them. So believe me, it's not an affront to her family. But I just can't help but wonder, I can't help but pray that the money is actually put in a trust fund for her children. I can't help it because I'm Corinne Gaines. I'm an outspoken single mom, and I live with the knowledge that at any time my life could be taken in retaliation for high treason, and we as Black people have no system of recourse for this. Back in August of 2016, I did write a blog on my website, www.powsolution.com. where I spoke about Corinne Gaines. The actual blog itself was actually about if you decide to become an activist, which I self-proclaimed activist, but who knows. But if you decide to become an activist, or you decide to engage yourself in these stories of our situation here in this country, it's psychologically damaging. It really does take a toll on you. So I did write a blog, originally called The Self-Proclaimed Activist Guide to Being Happy, but then I changed it to A Warrior's Guide to Self-Care. But the only reason I primarily wrote about Corinne Gaines is because I actually heard about her story while I was on vacation. I was out on vacation in upstate New York, relaxing by a pool. I look at my phone and I end up reading her story. And it's almost like there is no vacation from being black, especially in this country. But I wrote about it because I said Gaines's death is significant because of the courage she displayed in her life. Regardless of how life-threatening it was, she called out white supremacy and spoke about how much it influenced American policing. Her death truly impacted me because I realized that Corinne's level of forthright fearlessness is what we need the most to overhaul this oppressive structure. I actually wrote about Trayvon Martin too in another blog of mine called Prayer for My People, because Trayvon Martin is really what sparked me on this kind of social justice journey. I mean, actually it was the verdict after his death that sparked me. But Corinne Gaines's death actually reactivated me. I was in a place of emotional and psychological flux. All the black suffering, was a lot for me. I'm an empath. But after her death, I said, no, this will not do. I can't allow this. And so I committed myself, this time with some self-preservation methods, some self-care. But I decided that I'm not going to stop talking about this. I'm not going to stop bringing this up because her death impacted me so much. So, this lawsuit, this awarding, which once again, they were just awarded. Who knows if they'll actually get the money. It's not nowhere near as much as she deserves. It's nowhere near as much as she deserves. And furthermore, you should never allow anyone to put a price on your life. Once anyone can come along and put a price on your life, you become a slave. So to me, it's just a spit in the eye. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a quote from Stacey Patton, because shortly after the news of Corinne Gaines's death, hit the social media circuit, some people had negative things to say. They were saying she was crazy. They were saying that she put her son's life in jeopardy. They were saying, that she caused her own murder. And they said the same thing about Sandra Bland, and Stacey Patton, she responded with this quote: Corinne Gaines sounded quite lucid to me. She understood the mandate. People who are fearlessly and courageously ready to die for what they believe in always sound mentally ill to those whose spines are stitched together with illusions of scriptures, respectability politics, and investments in a glorious colorblind afterlife. And with that, I drop the mic. Thank you for letting me come on today and just sporadically get this off my chest. I will be back with a regularly scheduled episode of Drops the Mic soon. Peace.